Street Journal is now reporting that Justice Department officials told President Trump in May that his name was among many names mentioned in the Epstein files. This is something the White House is now labeling as, quote, fake news, end quote. Our panel will be here to weigh in, but we do want to start with CNN Chief Legal Affairs Correspondent Paula Reed. We also have our Chief Congressional Correspondent Manu Raju on Capitol Hill. Paula, I want to go first to you, and especially this Wall Street Journal headline, which is that the Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files, that he was told at this meeting the files contained what officials felt was unverified hearsay about many people, including Trump, who had socialized with Epstein in the past, some of the officials said. One of the officials familiar with the documents said that they contain hundreds of other names. We are in the course of reporting this out, obviously. But what else do we know? And it also comes in the context of these court decisions today.
Let's start with the Wall Street Journal reporting what we have not independently confirmed. We have received some statements from the Justice Department saying, quote, the DOJ and the FBI reviewed the Epstein files and reached the conclusion set out in the July 6th memo. Nothing in the files warranted further investigation or prosecution. We have filed a motion in court to unseal the underlying grand jury transcripts. We'll get to that in a second. As part of our routine briefing, we made the president aware of the findings. So in that statement from the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General, they are not directly addressing the most significant part of this, which is the reporting that Trump was told he was mentioned multiple times in these files. Now, there's also a statement from the FBI Director Kash Patel. It says the memo released on July 6th is consistent with a thorough review conducted by the FBI and DOJ. The criminal leakers and fake news media tries tirelessly to undermine President Trump with smears, lies, and this story is no different. I'm reading that because it suggested to me that the FBI director there is calling the story a lie, but that's not actually specifically what he's saying. And I think all of this is really important, Casey, because if we go back to the first Bondi-related Epstein controversy, you may remember she held an event to great fanfare at the White House where she handed out binders of what was promised to be new investigations. And a lot of MAGA-aligned influencers were very disappointed because most of what she handed out was already in the public record. But sources at that time told me a lot of the frustration from the White House with Bondi in that event was the fact that they didn't redact Trump's name, even though these were records that were already well known. They were flight logs. There was a lot of frustration around Bondi's handling of that incident. So it tracks with what the Wall Street Journal is reporting here, that they would be very sensitive about any mention of Trump's name in subsequent files. Now, you also asked about the potential release of grand jury information, because we know.
Paula, let me pause you just 1 second there, because I do want to make sure that we get this White House statement on the record as we continue to talk about this. So here was White House Communications Director Stephen Chung responding to this. He says, quote, the fact is that the president kicked him, Epstein, out of his club for being a creep. This is nothing more than a continuation of the fake news stories concocted by the Democrats and liberal media, just like the Obama Russiagate scandal, which President Trump was right about. Of course, we're going to get to that later on in the show, because that's what they were trying to talk about from the podium today. But Paula, it's also worth noting, of course.
Yeah, so this has been, breaking news. And, when it comes to SP files, a lot of MAGA groups are kind of stepping away from supporting Trump because of a lot of people think that Trump lied about the SP files, and, trying to rest from people's minds that, the Jeffrey Epstein file doesn't exist, which we have been knowing for years that this has been happening. But so I don't know what Trump's going to do next. But go ahead, Ronnie. Man, what's your take on that? Now we found out the DOJ has told Trump about, his name is listed. What do you think Trump is going to do next?
Trump's still stating it is fake news. He stands by it with all his heart, deep in his heart. It is fake news. But people already stated him and Jeffrey Epstein, they had a really, really good relationship. They were like best friend at one point before he passed. So it doesn't surprise nobody one bit. My thing is, to clear your name, just drop the file. Your name is on the file, so be it. You're still president. They're not gonna pitch you out of the House. You got majority. You got majority of the House. You got majority of the House, the Senate, and also the Supreme Court. So your whole presidency is already kind of set. But everybody knew he was a part of the Epstein file. That didn't shock me one bit. My thing is, it's not going to be released due to the fact, like I keep stating on every time we talk about it, there are higher power elites that people do not want that type of information to be out. So they gave us Martin Luther King. That was a good gesture. We got you. But everybody want that Epstein file. And trust me, the liberal media ain't going to stop until those files are released. And I'm being honest, it's not going to be released. It's just not. Go ahead, Akin.
You're 100% right. I think we all had an idea about this, but we even know, I think we can go back a couple episodes ago. I said that they're not going to release the files. We talked about this because you want to know it's too damaging. There's a lot of deep pockets involved. Transparency, the American government don't know what transparency means. You know what I mean? When it comes to anything major, a lot of the stuff is spoon fed. So this is what we expected. Long live America.
Like I said, I think I think we're gonna know more and more stuff. I think this stuff is spilling. I think we can see a lot more stuff spilling from the White House when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein's files. And I think we're just getting started. We're definitely just getting started. So Trump can deny all he wants and everything, but I feel like there's gonna be more stuff coming out little by little by little by little when it comes to the Epstein's files and everything. Because to me, I don't care. Trump can talk about whatever and everything, but it is not gonna go away of the Epstein files. Do I think it's gonna be released? No. But I just feel like it's still going to be more leaks coming out the White House when it comes to these Epstein's files. So we found out Trump's name is on there by the Justice Department, and can we find out more other people can go on there by somebody leaking it out? I think so. And like I said, I don't think we're done yet. I think we're going to hear some more stuff about the Epstein's files.